How's it going? It's Rocky. So if you ended up in my channel, you're probably wondering if it's time to quit your 9 to 5, either because you have something else lined up or you have a side hustle like I do. Stick around and see how I did this week as it compares to my W-2 and my thoughts on that topic altogether. Now, this is week number 31 of what I like to call my 5 to 9 after the 9 to 5. And I refer to it as my 5 to 9 because I work on this after hours. So there's no conflict of interest for my 9 to 5 job, which is my priority. And what's great about trading the futures is it's open 24 hours, 6 days a week. So I do have the advantage to be able to trade after market hours. So what that means is during the Globex is what's referred to on the futures market. I can trade when the Asian market is open or when the European market is open. And as you can see here, this is the chart that I have for the entire week. And the vertical lines is what I drew to basically signify when I enter and exit a trade. If I remove the lines there, you can also see where I bought, which is green here, and where I sold, either going long or when I'm shorting. And basically, if I bring back these vertical lines, you're able to see that I pretty much trade outside of the regular US market hours. And you can tell that it's during the US market hours when there's more volume here. So that's the reason why, there's most people trade during the US market hours, because that's where there's a lot of liquidity. Liquidity meaning there's a lot of buying and selling going on. And as you can see here, I usually do it before that. So a lot of these trades on the left here is Sunday, and then the rest are really, in the evenings after my 9 to 5. And I have some occasional trades during the market hours, but these I do normally during my lunch break or when I have a little break. So nothing to take me away from my 9 to 5. So this is one of our trade analysis here, and I go through my trades just to give you examples of the strategy that I do follow. There's no, I'm not charging anything for that strategy. It's written on the description below, and you can also check out my website rockymark.com to read up about it. But essentially, this trade is pretty much well known. Also, there's no secret about it. It's just the difference what I do is I use MACD with stochastic RSI, but I use both a time-based and a tick-based chart. So what you see on the left here is a time-based chart, and the right is a tick-based chart using Heikin-Ashi candles. And basically, a lot that I've been doing this past few weeks is I've been relying a lot on the tick base. A lot of that due to the volatility of things. It's easier for me to trade off of it. Usually what I wait for the time base and the tick base to both show me the same thing, where when I go short, like for this instance, I would wait for a crossover to occur, which occurred here on the tick base, and I would wait for it to be on the oversold side. So yes, I'm a little different from the convention, where I do like to short when I am on the oversold side. But if you look on the time base here, you don't see that same exact indicator. However, you can see that the MACD is below the zero line, so I had a bit more confidence in taking this short. And I did make this short at about 12:07 a.m. Had a bit of trouble going to sleep that night, but I pretty much shorted 3 contracts, as you can see here, at 32,748. And this trade actually took, until about 2:12 in the morning. But nope, I was not awake until 2:12 in the morning. Once I had a significant sign that, I am profitable and I can leave the trade alone, I did place an OCO, and that's why I was stopped out at 32,714. So with this trade itself, I'm going to bring the calculator. Just, we can do that math easily in our head, but just so we can illustrate how this trade did, from shorting at 32,748 and basically covering at 32,7, let's call it 715. That was 33 points. And because I traded pretty much 3 contracts, where one contract is equal to $5 per point, we will multiply this by 15, and basically this trade got us a gross profit before commissions and fees of $495. So yeah, just wanted to illustrate how that works, and also wanted to show you how I'm more in control now, because if you pretty much check out my previous contents in quarter 2, where I lost a lot of money because I wasn't doing a good job with my risk management, it's trades like this. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see what would have happened if I left the trade alone. Basically, exited at 714. It actually got down to 452. So let's just say 200 plus points. That would have been $3,000. But I can't think that way, because it goes either way, right? All that really matters is your risk management, which is something that I am still improving on, but I'm getting a lot better at it. What's great here, again, I went to bed, placed my OCO. I was stopped out, still at a good profit. Sure, it's easy for human nature to say, I could have made a lot more. But so basically, yeah, when you trade, just make sure that you have your risk management in play. You know yourself well, because if you start looking at what could have been, that's really something that could pretty much bite you on your next trade. Something I refer to as revenge trading, which you normally don't want to do. Here's the next trade that I want to talk about, and this occurred during my lunch break. So I am in the Pacific Coast, which makes it nice because the power hour, which is the last hour of the US stock market, where usually there's a bit more volume, coincides pretty much at 12 o'clock noon in the Pacific Coast. So that's the power hour, and I always make it a point to take that as my lunch break. Some people will eat during their lunch, some people will go for a walk. I decide to pretty much work on my side hustle during my lunch break, which is the time for myself where I can do anything that I want. Again, I'm following the trend of pretty much relying on my tick base a bit more here again. You see that the crossover occurred here, and we were on the overbought side. And if you look at this Heikinashi, it looks more or less pretty clean. But if you look at the time base here on the left, it was definitely a lot of drawdown that was occurring here. And basically, I had the confidence because on the tick base, I was seeing that diverging a bit there. And I knew that I had a good trade that is occurring. And basically, something new here, you probably realize, my portfolio is now pretty big that I can now do 4 e-mini contracts. Basically what that means is, now that I can handle more contracts, I can exit my trade a lot quicker also. So I don't have to hold on to my trade to get that big dollar value. But at the same time, going up, it's the same as going down also, right? It's a lot more riskier with this because it could go the other way and you could lose a whole lot more money. So that's why it's really important to have your OCOs or your mental stops when you are trading. So again, with this one, it's the same thing. I placed an OCO right at 12:30 and we were stopped out at 32,701, and it's the same thing. If I let it go, it would have gone up another 50 points or so, and with 4 contracts, you'd multiply that by 20. So 40 times 20, that would have been $800 on this trade right here. But instead of looking at it that way, I basically, how I convinced myself that it's okay that I was stopped out is the fact that, hey, look, I made the right decision because he was heading in the right direction. And you can never really hit the peaks. You just gotta basically, on a bell curve, try to get the middle part of that bell curve. Anyway, let's do the calculation a little bit here, and it is 4 contracts, and I'll do a bit of multiplication here. 3 times 32,687 plus another contract at 32,660. We'll divide that by 4, so our average is 32,680.25. So what does that mean? Since we sold at 32,701, subtract 32,680.25, and that was 20.75 points. And since we traded 4 contracts, we will multiply that by $20. And for this trade, we were able to get $415. So hope you enjoyed this little examples that I did on the trade analysis. I'm trying to do more of it because if you're new to trading or if you've been doing it for a while, it's really good to have like examples that you know are repeatable. You don't want trading to feel like gambling, and that's really one of the main reasons that I started this channel, is to pretty much help those who maybe have watched too much social media with the crazy 1000% gains or chasing a list or whatnot. I'm trying to show a different, more controlled way of trading, or really something that is repeatable. For our account statement, I am recording this on Friday, August 5th. It's about 8:18 p.m. And what I'm showing here is from Sunday, July 31st to today, Friday, August 5th. And if you look at the description, I want to point out that I did not deposit or withdraw anything. I also did not have any mark to market, so I was very good at keeping my trade short and not leaving it overnight per se. And basically, if we look at the amount here, where our best trade was $850, you'll see that there is no negative amount. So this was actually a perfect week that I hope I could repeat all the time, because it's a pretty strong week. And this is where, if I could do this every week, yeah, I would quit my 9 to 5. But of course, with trading, it's a very volatile thing to do, and it's not something I would recommend. I think I would only consider basically leaving my 9 to 5 and making this a thing that I do as my main hustle, is if I had at least 2 or 3 years of emergency fund. And what that means is basically whatever my expenses is per month, I would want 2 years worth of that in cash, because that way, if you were trading and that was the only way or the only source of income you'll have, you won't have this pressure, because the mentality is very important when you're trading. And when you are forcing yourself to make money from trading, you will make a lot of mistakes. So I enjoy this just really being my side hustle that I can do on the side to pretty much help me with my debt repayment, and also increasing my portfolio on my long-term investment, which, believe it or not, I prefer the set and forget strategy. So anyway, we will calculate how we did this week, and I will disclose to you if whatever we earned this week is more or less than what I earn gross wise on my W-2. So our ending cash for the week is $49,195.25, and our starting cash was $45,033. So that gave us a net profit for the week of $4,162.25. So like what I said, that is a pretty significant amount. And let's just assume this was your equivalent to your gross for your W-2, right? And there's 52 weeks in the year. So if you multiply that amount by 52, that means that your W-2 salary would be $216,437. And no, I wish that was my W-2 base salary, but it is not my base salary. So yes, this week I definitely made more on my side hustle than my W-2, but again, it's trading. It's not something that is repeatable every week. Anyway, going back to what we normally do, with our total this week of $4,162.25, I'll divide that by 40 hours, which is the regular 9 to 5 in the US. That would have been a hourly rate of $104.06. So that's pretty great. I mean, nowhere close to what a lawyer or doctor is making per hour, but nonetheless, that's a pretty significant hourly rate. And basically, with our profit of $4,162.25, and if we divided that with our starting cash of $45,033, and I'll multiply that by 100 for the week, we hit our reach goal, close to our reach goal, which is normally 10%. For the week, we did get 9.2 0.24%. So yeah, that is my content for the week. If you are considering quitting your 9 to 5, don't do it. Just continue basically doing this on the side. I'd recommend that. But of course, if you already have a significant cash amount and you are pretty confident with your trading, or you have, backup plans should something bad ever happen from the volatility of the trading, then go for it. But really, it's not something I would recommend for anyone to do. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed and like what you saw today. If you didn't, give me another chance, and hopefully on the next content you like what you see. All right, have a good one.